Hello, this is Kinninigan from RagingReptilian.com. I got requested to do this video about Saturn. What is Saturn? And here's the deal. This video doesn't have to be really long because I believe if it's explained right. And what I mean by explained right, if you don't have a pagan or a shill trying to explain it to you, it's very easy to understand Saturn worship. It is the Antichrist. This is why I've seen other lecture videos where people go on for these tangents about the black cube of Saturn and trying to make all this occult information with it. It's not that complicated. Nobody. All right, so I'm going to explain this really easy. In the alchemy of the Bible, and yes, the Bible is written around alchemy. Jesus is the sun. There's even references in the Bible to Jesus being personified by the sun. The sun enters the sign of the zodiac at 30 degrees. Jesus began his ministry at 30 years old. There are 12 disciples that Jesus had, and there are 12 constellations in the zodiac. You understand that. So how is Saturn the Antichrist? Well, if Saturn had a thermonuclear explosion in its core, it would ignite into a second sun. That's why it's personified as the Antichrist. Now do you understand? Now, here, I was going through this and I was pulling up these links earlier, and this is just a little side tangent. I honestly believe that Wikipedia needs to be sued for falsifying information. I believe that YouTube needs a lawsuit against putting Wikipedia links under videos and giving out fake information. What do I mean by that? Well, according to Wikipedia, the Brotherhood of Saturn is a magical order that didn't start until 1926 by a bunch of Germans, and that is bullshit. It's almost as bad as the shills going around and telling you that Adam Weishaupt was the founder of the Illuminati in the 1700s, and that's on the Wikipedia page also. That's what I mean about Wikipedia putting out fake information. Why are they shilling for these occult societies? They don't want, yeah, the Brotherhood of Saturn, according to them, was founded in 1926 by Johann Grosch, even though it's written in Latin. Okay? No, the Brotherhood of Saturn goes all the way back to Rome, where it started. Saturn is the highest god of the Roman pantheon, which is why the Antichrist, or Saturn, the planet, was named after him. Because the pagan gods don't want anything to do with Jesus. We're getting into something that's pretty obvious here. We all know that Rome hijacked Catholicism. And they took their Saturnalia tradition, which is a festival in Rome. It goes from the 17th to the 23rd. Actually, this article, you could hit play,
Audio
it'll read it
article,
to you.
Saturnalia.
The Saturnalia was an enduring Roman festival dedicated to the agricultural god Saturn, which was held between the 17th and 23rd of December each year during the winter solstice.
Now I'm going to pause it. I might be giving some people some video making ideas out there because who likes using those text-to-speech editors? Yeah, you can come here and actually have the article read for you. How do you like that? She has a nicer voice than I do. So yeah, we know what I've done videos on the cult of Mithra. I will be doing an upcoming video on the secret societies of Rome, and the Brotherhood of Saturn is one of them. Why Wikipedia gets off on telling people that the Brotherhood of Saturn started in 1926? Because they're pushing fake information. And that's why I believe Wikipedia needs to have a lawsuit thrown at them. I don't give a shit if you don't like conspiracy theories. It doesn't give you the right to lie about them. Alright? Just saying. Just like I have reptilian shapeshifters on video, and they put a link under my videos telling me it's the stuff of science fiction. Well, the truth does not require your approval, Susan Wychecki. That's what I say. And no, the Brotherhood of Saturn goes all the way back to ancient Rome. Saturn has always been worshipped as the Antichrist. Now, to give Jordan Maxwell a little bit of credit here, because I don't plagiarize other researchers, he, in his early lectures, would tell you the reason why we have ear rings and we wear rings on our fingers. That was a direct reference to Saturnalian worship. That's why they weren't called finger circles or ear circles. That's why we call them rings, pertaining to the rings of Saturn. Now, one thing that they cannot explain is the hexagon on Saturn, which is where a lot of occultists get into like those tangent lectures about the cube of Saturn. The most infamous representation of the cube of Saturn was in the TV show Star Trek with the Borg. Now, your same people that worship Saturn as the Antichrist are the same people pushing the transhuman agenda. So think about that. And what were the Borg in the show? They were it was transhumanism. Symbolism is right in front of your face. Don't listen to Wikipedia about the Brotherhood of Saturn being started in, yeah, the Thule Society, which I'm not even allowed to talk about on YouTube. The lecture is on my Patreon account, though. Yes, there was a Nazi worship of the Black Sun, but they worshipped it as the Antichrist, and so do people in the occult. When you go to become a Freemason, for example, have you ever heard the term being blackballed? Well, that black ball is a direct reference to Saturn also. What they do is they have a box, and if you want to become a Mason, you know what's funny? When you want to get into street gangs and even 1% motorcycle clubs, their voting system is almost the same as the Masons. Who started those? Why are motorcycle clubs, they have like Antichrist names? The Hells Angels, the Pagans, the Mongols. Who do you think started these clubs? They don't like to admit their own origins, do they? Who do you think invented the Bloods and Crips? Yeah, that's a Masonic term right there. To sell drugs for the CIA. Yay. Um, and other things. but So when you go to become a Freemason, the term black ball is they have this box, and you have a white ball and a black ball. And to get accepted into the lodge, you got to have positive vote from everyone, meaning that all the white balls should be in the box. If a black ball goes in, that means one member is voting against you. That is where the term blackballed comes from. Yeah, that's real, and it's a direct reference to Saturn again. Saturn, I'll explain it again, is the Antichrist because Jesus is the Son, and the alchemical way the Bible is written, it would take a thermal nuclear explosion in the core of Saturn to ignite it into a second sun, which would make us a binary star system, except life on Earth would end. In fact, there was a movie put out about this, Symbolism, right in front of your face. It would take exactly 28 days for the effects of Saturn igniting before we felt it here on Earth. Strangely, in 2002, a movie called 28 Days Later comes out. Where did I get that idea from? And when the rings of Saturn ignite, it would take 28 days before we felt the effects here on Earth. And yes, it would end about 90% of human civilization, which is another theorized thing of the Antichrist coming. So is the Antichrist actually going to be a real deity or a walking, talking human? Or are they going to ignite Saturn into a second sun? It would actually change the balance of life throughout the galaxy because you would have two suns. I don't even know if Earth would be able to be well, there is a theory that the Earth is hollow, and there is a sun in the hollow Earth also, which is referred to as the second sun. But on the surface of the planet, we don't know if it would be able to be habitated anymore, not with two suns in the galaxy. So this is why there's such fascination with Saturn. I think the reason why they lie about the origins of the Brotherhood of Saturn is, how would Rome know that? Yeah, how did the Romans know that Saturn could be ignited into another sun? Maybe that's why they lie about history, because they can't explain some of the shit that the ancient people obviously know. How did Rome even find all the planets in the solar systems? How did the Babylonians know about all the planets? Why are all the planets named after Roman gods? Well, that's because Rome is still in power. Most people don't even know who they serve. And yes, the Brotherhood of Saturn goes all the way back to ancient Rome. It's a secret society of Rome. Don't listen to this Wikipedia fake news bullshit. And Wikipedia and their links that they put under YouTube videos are really starting to get to me, because they are putting out fake information about a lot of stuff, including the Illuminati, including Agenda 21, the Freemason. I don't know who YouTube thinks they are, putting Wikipedia links under videos that aren't even accurate because they don't like it. Well, the truth does not require your approval, Susan Wojcicki. So, again, the black cube of Saturn comes around this idea of the hexagon storm that is at the poles of Saturn. Nobody can explain how these hexagon things started. I've seen people try to explain it. Yeah, they actually move. It's a storm. No one's been able to give a good explanation, so there's really no reason for me to be on video trying to explain it, because no one's been able to explain it. The only thing I will tell you is it might be evidence of alien intervention. Maybe they are preparing Saturn to be ignited into a second sun, because it would end 90% of the civilization on the planet Earth when the rings of Saturn ignite and basically shoot across the galaxy like a big shotgun. And that's what would happen. It would be devastating. Then Saturn would be visible in the sky as a sun now. I don't know how life would be affected on other planets. Maybe other planets become habitable. I do believe that this is a natural reoccurring thing for Mother Nature, of all things. Mother Nature has a balance. Things die, things come to life. We know that the sun will not last forever. It'll eventually run out of gas to burn, right? So when the main sun dies, Saturn is the second sun in our galaxy to be ignited into a new sun. I believe that that's just the way Mother Nature works. But there could be some intervention going on at the poles of Saturn, which is where we get this. And this is where the whole idea of the black cube of Saturn comes from, with occultists and all that. I'm not going to get into too much detail of it. But at the end of the day, like I said, Saturnalian worship is the worship of the Antichrist. Because Jesus in the Bible is the Son. And I find it funny, like to mention Star Trek, the Borg, represented by the black cube of Saturn. And it's the Borg are an obvious transhuman agenda, which is part of the plan for the New World Order. So we don't know. I mean, is the New World Order going to come when they ignite Saturn into a second sun, where basically we would be on Earth for 28 days, basically not being able to do anything, unless you're in a bunker or something, because it would take 28 days for the effects to hit Earth, and we would be in a binary star system. And we do know that there are binary star systems out there, because Sirius is a binary star system, the one, and Orion, I believe. So we do know that there are binary star systems in the universe. Just don't believe this Brotherhood of Saturn over at Wikipedia. This is pathetic. This is almost as bad as them telling you that the Illuminati was founded by Adam Weishaupt in the 1700s. And the only people pushing that Adam Weishaupt Illuminati thing are shills and Freemason. In fact, one very famous one wrote a book about it. And he's got 1 million subs on YouTube. And I don't know any conspiracy theorist with 1 million subs. I'm not saying his name. People like me that give you the real truth, we're never going to have 1 million subs on YouTube, okay? They don't want the truth to get out. But it doesn't have to be that complicated when it comes to Saturn, if you understand that it is Antichrist worship, period. Saturn is the highest god in the Greek pantheon, which is why they would have named the Antichrist planet after him. Because the pagan gods are nothing to do with Jesus, and we know the story of Rome hijacking Catholicism, and the Jews blaming the Romans because the Romans actually crucified them. The Jews don't want to take the blame for it, and it wasn't the Jews or the Romans. It was the 72 Pharisees who brought the Babylonian Talmud with them out of Babylon. They are the ones who had Jesus crucified. And it ties in with the whole Antichrist and Jesus being the Son story, too, his crucifixion. There's definitely some symbolism there with that. But the idea of the Brotherhood of Saturn just being founded in 1926 is a bunch of bullshit. I don't even know how Wikipedia gets away with putting this outright fake garbage information out and to be taking as a real source of information. It's pathetic. They also give you links, for example, for chemtrails under your videos, right? Because that's just a conspiracy. When you can obviously look up in the sky and see chemtrails being done. This is why I think there needs to be a lawsuit with Wikipedia and YouTube for putting out fake information as research links. I don't think it's YouTube's job to be putting research links under videos when they're obviously respreading bullshit information from Wikipedia. Just saying. Because I almost laughed when I saw this. It's written in Latin, first of all. And they're trying to say, yeah, I know who they're hinting at. There was a Thule society with the Nazis, and they did worship the Black Sun. But this order goes back much older than they are, the Nazis, obviously. It goes all the way back to Rome. Rome has been worshiping Saturn as the Antichrist since Rome was around. So, whatever. So, I think that's all I really have to say about Saturn. Like I said, this video doesn't need to be long. You understand it's the Antichrist. That's why it's so revered in the occult. It has everything to become a second sun in our galaxy. It would just take a thermonuclear explosion. They cannot explain the hexagon on the poles of Saturn, but that might be alien intervention right there. Maybe they are preparing Saturn to be ignited into another sun, and maybe that will be the ushering in of the New World Order. Because we know that it has something to do with the Antichrist. And I find it weird, like the black cube of Saturn being shown on Star Trek and the Borg, obvious transhuman agenda. You know, there's topics that we're not allowed to talk about here on YouTube, and transhumanism is one of them. Ask yourself the questions on that one. And what's really funny is when they block certain topics from being discussed, right? Those are usually the ones of the biggest interest to people, and we can go publish them on other platforms. I have an LBRY account. I have other ways to get videos out without using YouTube or Google and their bullshit Wikipedia links. Alright, I had to re-record the ending of this because my kitty cat pulled out the chat mic wire. Yeah, thanks, Macy. It happens. Anyway, I was coming up towards the end of the video. There's really not that much more to talk about. Like I said, this video doesn't need to be really long. If you understand that Saturn is the Antichrist and that's how it works in the occult, then it's very easy to understand Saturnalian worship. The only thing that I'm having an issue with is this Wikipedia link that I was just talking about, and then putting out bullshit information. Because the Brotherhood of Saturn did not start in 1926 by a bunch of Nazis. It is a secret society that goes all the way back to Rome. But then again, Wikipedia lies about all secret societies on their pages. You will get a link under your video if you talk about the Freemason, the Illuminati, Agenda 21, reptilians, chemtrails. Yeah, whatever. I can go on about Wikipedia and YouTube all day, but I think there needs to be a lawsuit there for Wikipedia and YouTube spreading misinformation on topics they don't like. Yeah, you heard that from me. Okay? I don't think it's YouTube's business to be putting academic links under people's videos. In fact, as a lecturer myself, I look at it as an insult. You know, it's really frustrating when you do a lecture and YouTube wants to put a Wikipedia link under your video because what are they telling you? You're not telling the truth? We obviously can't trust them for information. According to Wikipedia, the Illuminati is just a conspiracy that started from Adam Weishaupt in the 1700s, the barbarian Illuminati. Yeah, whatever. I just did a video about the real Illuminati recently. I could show you a reptilian shapeshifter on video, yet Susan Wojcicki makes it her job to put a Wikipedia link under my video and tell you it's the stuff of science fiction. Yeah, so I'm not going to get too upset about Wikipedia and YouTube, but something needs to be done about it. Oh, they're using Encyclopedia Britannica links now also. Isn't that great? You know who writes encyclopedias? The same universities that have been brainwashing your young people into socialism and communism. Yeah, those are the people who write your encyclopedias. And at the end of the day, it's the same people who worship Saturn as the Antichrist. How are you going to get good information from occultists themselves? You're not. It's just the way it goes. So, the black cube of Saturn again pertains to the storm right here, this mysterious hexagon storm. I am not even going to attempt to tell you what it is. Nobody knows what it is, but I think the reason why we never got a good answer on it is because it may involve some type of alien intervention. Are they preparing Saturn to be ignited into a second sun? Is that what is going on at the poles? We don't know. All we do know is that hexagonal storms are not natural, as far as we know. Again, the symbol of Saturn is the hexagram, the six-pointed star, the sign of Israel. Why is it the sign of Israel? Well, it goes back to the Jesus story and the Pharisees when they crucified the Son of God. Then they take on the symbol of the Antichrist, which is the hexagon. In the Babylonian pantheon, Saturn is represented by Enlil, or El. That's where we get El from. That's a direct reference to Saturn also. I'll put these links in the description if you're interested. There really isn't too much more to talk about with Saturn. I'm not going to get into a lecture on the black cube of Saturn and all that stuff, but one of the bullshit theories that they come up with is that maybe they worshipped Saturn because in ancient times it was visible on Earth. No, it wasn't. Yeah, okay. If it was visible at one time on Earth, why isn't it visible now? Did it move? Yeah, they can't explain that one. Just like they tell you the pyramids were built for granary storage or something, right? By Cheops. um, yeah. And then you start understanding why we have these like seven wonders of the ancient world that they can't solve. It isn't that they can't solve them; they would have to admit to a few things they don't want to admit to. But this is all no. Saturn was never visible. Look, they're getting. This is who made this video. Discourses on
You've
the
just
alien
entered the
sky.
theater.
When Saturn ruled the world. This is what I mean about not listening to shills about information when it comes to this stuff. This is bullshit. Saturn was never visible in the night sky. Maybe If you just understood it is Antichrist worship, it makes it a whole lot easier. Maybe they can't explain how the Romans knew that, and that's why they hide the real origins of the Brotherhood of Saturn. How did the Babylonians know about the planets? How did the Romans know about the planets? Saturn can be ignited into a sun. That is real science. That's not conjecture. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's got gases in there that would ignite into a sun. I'm scrolling through this website, and they're trying to tell you at one time maybe Saturn was a sun and it burned out. That's bullshit. How did it get the rings around it? Yeah. Some other interesting things with Saturn. They are kind of conspiracies, but I'd like to make videos about them in the future. It has to do with the rings of Saturn. Supposedly they found alien artifacts on them or something. That's an interesting subject, but just to get down to the basics, yeah, that is why Saturn, it was never visible in the night sky. It's worship, it's the Antichrist. And once you understand that, then you understand the occult fascination with it. Any questions or comments, leave them below. If you're able to help me out with donations, anything would help. I am not monetizing this channel. All these videos run ad-free. You're getting the best occult information on the internet without ads. And so if you're able to sign up for Patreon, I don't ask people to donate what they can't afford or anything, but it's pretty much you can sign up to my Patreon, or links are in the description. Also, I was a little tied up during the week. I will be going back to live streaming this week. I was going to make this a live stream, but then I figured there isn't really enough information about Saturn to make a good hour-long lecture about it. I don't do videos where I'm kind of ranting on for too long. That's why I only needed about 20 minutes to explain Saturn. That's why I just decided to record this. But um, I may do a live stream going on maybe Monday and Wednesday. And the next live stream I do is going to be a reptilian live stream. In fact, I want to do a live stream with the kind of Q&A about the Anunnaki, because there's a lot of bad information about the Anunnaki going around. So maybe in the live stream, I'll talk about the Anunnaki in the live stream. I think that would be good. Anyway, any questions or comments, leave them below. Until we speak again, this is Kinninigan, and take care.